meeting to order. First up, we're looking for approval of the agenda. Support, questions, comments, changes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. The agenda is approved. Public comment. We have a reporter and staff. Brad, you got anything to say? No. Okay. Public comment is closed. Committee items, the minutes from the December 9th meeting. Looking for approval? Support. Motion and support. Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Takes us to appointments. My recollection is we have one, which is Community Corrections Advisory Board, I believe. Yes. It's a city appointment. Colleen Sullivan is the current member, the applicant, and the recommendation from the city is Will Forgrave. Be looking for a motion. Support. Motion and support. Tony?
I know this nomination came from the city council, but looking at the gentleman's resume, I don't see anything. If I missed something, tell me. What's in his background?
Tony, the reality is it's the city's pick. And if you read on his letter of interest, I think he notes that the city voted to make him the appointment, although it's poorly worded, I think. The fact is that they get the pick on that because he is a council member.
Okay, so this one we just rubber stamp?
Pretty much, yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's the way it is. It's much the same as county commission. Yeah, sometimes gets appointed to like LDFAs. They may not like it, but that's our pick. So, okay, so if there's no further questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Takes us to the Region 2 Planning Commission semi-annual report with Grant Bauman. And I think some of us have heard some of this, right, Grant?
Yes, some of it. Good morning, everyone. Region 2 has been busy with activities that we've taken on behalf of the county, and I'd just like to summarize those briefly. We continue to participate on the Upper Grand River Watershed Alliance, and as part of that, we, over the summer, took the tour of the properties at the confluence of the Portage and Grand Rivers that might be another potential county park slash trail hub for both water trails and terrestrial trails. We completed at the end of last year the Jackson County Recreation Plan, where we facilitated the development of that plan with the County Parks and Recreation Commission, and that was adopted by the county board in December and will be submitted this month to the Department of Natural Resources, and that keeps the county's eligibility to apply for recreation grants that are funneled through the DNR. As far as the county strategic plan goes, we have agreed to co-chair the Quality of Life Essentials committee with county parks, which is one of the performance areas on the strategic plan. Under economic development, through the Regional Prosperity Initiative, which is a state funded program, that committee awarded $140,000 to area agencies for job development, skills training, and creating regional talent banks, and that's in the 6-county area of Hillsdale, Jackson, Lenawee, and then Livingston, Monroe, and Washtenaw counties. under the U.S. Economic Development Administration. We just received final word, and we were awarded a $70,000 grant for calendar year 2020 to manage that program. By being what's called an economic development district, that for Region 2, covering Jackson County, that makes available grant funding opportunities through the Economic Development Administration. And right now, the Enterprise Group is looking at applying for funding for the road and infrastructure improvement on County Farm Road for improvements to the Jackson Technology Park North. Under metropolitan and area-wide transportation planning, last fall, the annual road pavement ratings were done for the county. Half the county is done every other year, and that if anybody would like to see that. Those ratings for a particular township or anywhere else in the county, they could just contact Tanya de Oliveira in my office, and she can get you that information. Everybody is aware of the I-94 modernization study going on, and that's all done through the Jackson Area Comprehensive Transportation Study. And then there is the Jackson County Non-Motorized Plan, the Jackson City and County Non-Motorized Plan. That is in its final stages. Got an initial look at the draft being prepared in December. I'm excited about it, and so that will be brought out and be brought to you for the county board's approval sometime early this year. I'm just not sure exactly when that is. And then I'd just like to conclude with activities for the Jackson County Planning Commission. In one of the attachments to the semi-annual report was the annual report for the Jackson County Planning Commission. It was a busy year for the County Planning Commission. There were 36 township zoning amendment recommendations that were made under the Michigan Zoning and Enabling Act. Responsibility for the county to, most likely through its county planning commission, now that we have one here, is to review and make independent recommendations on anything that would amend a township zoning ordinance between the time that the Township Planning Commission makes a recommendation to its board and the board takes final action. That is just a mechanism to provide some assistance to especially smaller townships that may not have the wherewithal to have professional staff look over those types of things, and just provides the township board and an additional review and recommendation to consider when it makes its decision on those things. But that final authority stays with the township board. Under the Michigan Planning and Enabling Act, the County Planning Commission has is required to review and make recommendations on municipal master plans before their township planning commissions adopt them, and 6 of those were done in 2020. And then I would just like to conclude with the work that's been done on the county master plan to date. And one of the biggest things that has been accomplished is to conduct an existing land use survey, and the second attachment to our staff report provides information on that. Basically, if you looked at it, just for there were just under half of the assessed property within the county is farmland. Another 30% are large lot residential development, and that would be lots 5 acres or greater in size. Another 10% are compact residential lots. 3% are commercial assessed properties, 2% are industrial assessed properties, and 8% are exempt from taxation and are most likely some type of an institution, including the plethora of state recreation property that we have on the east side of the county. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
A lot of information packed into one report. Phil?
Thank you, Chair. Grant, the Pazer ratings in the county road
Yes.
condition, have they come up from the previous year? Because the road commission's been doing a lot of road improvements, and did our rating reflect that?
We'd have to get Tanya De Oliveira in here to answer that question. I'm just not involved enough in that assessment to be able to even make a guess. Sorry.
Chris could probably answer that, could you not, Chris? I don't know that they do PACER ratings every year, or do they?
They do them every other year. Half of the federal aid eligible roads are assessed every year.
Welcome to the club.
There we go. Yeah, the ratings will rise, but of course it's always a rear view mirror look. So it might be even next year before we see the impacts of a lot of those.
Thank you.
We do rate every road every year now. The requirement is only every other year. So we're working on some documents and reports for you, so you can brag all you like.
Any other questions of Grant? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Takes us to JC Dot with the Hydra Dig attachments.
You remember we brought forward back in September the purchase of the 4 Hydra Digs. Staff has done a lot of homework and research, and we've determined that this current menu of attachments, this mix, is optimal for us. 1 Hydra Dig will be in each garage, and 1 is dedicated to MDOT. And one of the biggest changes were the flail mowers. We upgraded them to heavy-duty units so they could handle some of the brushing work that we need to have done. The flail mowers that were quoted were more light-duty, just for normal routine mowing, but these new heavy-duty flail mower units take into account a credit to offset what was quoted as part of the package, but these new ones will cut up to 4, I believe even 6-inch diameter brush that's overgrown.
Okay, Commissioners, because of the amount that goes to the full board, we'd like a motion first, and we can discuss it if you'd like. Motion and support. Questions on the proposal? Tony? Tony, microphone, please.
Thanks. I went back and looked at the September meeting where the Hydra Digs were approved, and I'd like some clarification on some information. The equipment quote said that for the 4 Hydra Digs we were getting a grading bucket 50-inch, excavating bucket 28-inch, forks, rotary mower heads. The document January 8 document sent to us under paragraph 1, background, subparagraph B. The machines originally came with 2 digging buckets, 24-inch and 36-inch. And now we're looking at 72-inch bucket and a 60-inch bucket. So first off, can somebody tell me the difference between a bucket, a digging bucket, a grading bucket, and an excavating bucket? I don't know what those terms mean. I don't know if they're significant or not. Can somebody tell me that to start with?
Yeah, as we described back in September, these are like a Swiss Army knife type unit. So the width of the buckets determines what and how we excavate different items. The wider buckets that we're proposing to purchase here are for ditching. So the unit can actually run on the road, reach into the ditch, and in parallel basically efficiently scoop sediments from a ditch line in order to facilitate drainage. This is very important, especially if in a storm event ditch systems get clogged with brush or debris or sediment. And even in cleanup efforts, like right now, we literally would have this unit out cleaning things up. The 24-inch and 36-inch buckets that came with the unit are fundamentally basic excavation buckets for digging for culverts, catch basins, routine repairs, and so forth. So to get the full utilization out of this $1 million investment in these 4 units, we want to make sure we have the proper attachments and tools that our team needs.
Okay, but then I went back to the original order from September, and it said we were getting a grading bucket 50-inch, an excavating bucket 28-inch, and in the January 8 document it says that they came with 2 digging buckets, 24-inch and 36-inch. Which, did we receive something different than what we had ordered?
If it's okay, I'll defer to Bruce Cruz. I think he's chomping at the bit to contribute here.
I'm going to fall on my sword for that one. The answer is I don't know. I can tell you we haven't actually received anything. We expect them any day now, but they're not here yet. But as far as what's in the January 8th document, that's my fault for taking somebody's word for what, instead of going back and checking the document myself, which I should have done. And I'll do that before next week.
Can I suggest that we forward the issue onto the full board, and that in the meantime, before then, Chris or Bruce can give answers to Tony's questions that all of us would like to hear? Tony, would that work for you?
Yes.
And I'll update the staff report to that effect.
And you can feel free, Tony, to email your questions on, I think, probably to Mike or Chris.
It appears to me we're going to end up with, appears to me we're going to end up with 6 buckets for each machine. A 24, a 28, a 36, a 50, a 60, and a 72.
That may be, because for different jobs, you have different clearances, and it may be necessary that where on one job you've only got 2 feet of clearance and you need that smaller bucket to get in there, whereas on another job the larger bucket's better for efficiency and makes the job go faster.
Okay, so you'll get the answers to us by next Tuesday prior to that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioners? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding it onto the full board, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Chris. JC monthly report.
For this month, we didn't have too much to report. December was a routine month, essentially. So you see in the report some of the details of what we've been up to. The biggest update would be maybe the storm over this weekend. I'm real proud of our crews and all that they've accomplished in proactively preparing for the storm, but then their responsiveness and even working through the night, Saturday night, to keep our roads safe so that Sunday morning travels would be safe for our motoring public. Happy to take any questions.
Chris, I've only got one. The DuraPatch machine, is that the Python 5000, right?
The Python.
That
right.
thing up and working the way it's expected to be now?
It is now, yes.
Awesome.
And we've got it out and about.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions of Chris on his monthly report? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Takes us to the Administrator Controller's Office proposed update to the 911 Advisory Committee bylaws. Deb? Pretty self-explanatory. Looks like some typo and wording changes,
Yes, there's just,
agenda and other things.
we inadvertently placed 3 public comment portions in those meetings. Traditionally, our meetings go with 2, so we're just looking to update those bylaws with 2 public comment periods instead of 3.
Okay, Commissioners, looking for approval to send it to the full board? Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Takes us to the claims, which should be making their way around. Please look at them and sign them if you haven't already. And a motion to pay the claims.
Support.
Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Other minutes and the February reporting schedule are there. And takes us back to the public comment guidelines. Phil, I see you looking at me. Yes, we're almost done. Brad, anything more? Okay. Any other public comment? Hearing none. Public comments closed. Takes us to committee member comments. Any commissioner comments? Phil?
Nice job on your agenda today.
Thank you, Phil. We're adjourned.